Welcome to Human Design Powered Business. I'm Victoria Gibson, and every week I am sharing how you can harness your human design to unlock more flow, leverage, and opportunity within your business. So let's dive in. And what if I told you that the most successful entrepreneurs aren't successful because they're the smartest, work the hardest, or have the best strategies? What if their secret weapon is something so fundamental that most people completely overlook it? I'm talking about something that determines whether people are magnetically drawn to you or scroll right past. Something that decides if your offers feel irresistible or forgettable. Something that makes the difference between building a business that drains you or one that energizes you every single day. Well, that something is your calling key. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why this is the missing piece that changes everything. Now, let me tell you about Sarah. She's brilliant, hardworking, and passionate about her coaching business. But for 3 years, she felt like marketing exhausted her. Her message was falling on deaf ears and her content wasn't converting new clients. The strategies that used to work stopped working and her sales were going backwards. Her perfect clients weren't finding her or choosing her. She was exhausted trying to keep up with what seemed to work for everyone else or trying to make what used to work keep working despite the fact it was clear that it absolutely wasn't anymore. Sarah had fallen into what I call the replica trap. The belief that if you just follow the right formula, use the right words, or model the right mentor, success will follow. It's believing that the answers lie outside of who you are and what you know. But here's what Sarah didn't know. Sarah was trying to build her business using someone else's blueprint. Someone who was wired completely different than her, someone whose energy worked in a different way. And when Sarah discovered her calling key, which happened to be truth, everything shifted. Suddenly, her content had this raw authenticity and aligned energy that people couldn't ignore. Her ideal clients started reaching out saying, "You're speaking directly to my soul." And this completely transformed her business, especially seeing she'd been struggling with this problem for the last 3 years. The reason most entrepreneurial women struggle to create consistent profit and impact isn't because they lack skill, intelligence, or passion. It's because they're operating from borrowed energy instead of their authentic power source. It's because they're not trusting in themselves. They're not trusting in their inner wisdom and their own truth. They're not believing that this knowing is what will lead them to the ease and the effortless prosperity that they have started their business for. They're not understanding that by outsourcing their own truth to somebody else, that they are blocking their natural profit potential. And this is really why the 6 cash flow keys are the most important foundational step to coming back to recognizing your own energetic profit potential and activating it in a way that helps you get the clarity that you need to trust in yourself again. Because you'll have those moments where it's like, of course that's me. I understand that. Yes. Okay. It makes sense. And you can move forward in a way where merely following someone else's blueprint or outsourcing your authority to external forces like mentors, courses, all the huge knowledge that's out there, we need to look at it through this filter of our own energetic truth, our own inner wisdom that for too long we've been drowning out or refusing to listen to it and instead choosing the wisdom of others over our own inner truth. Think about it. You probably tried copying successful people's strategies, right? Their posting schedules, their messaging formulas, their launch sequences, looking for that next strategy to save you. And maybe you got some results, but likely it felt forced, maybe a bit draining. Like the stretch sometimes just felt too uncomfortable. It wasn't just stretch of growth. It was a stretch that it didn't feel like you. And that's because you were trying to express someone else's innate energetic profit advantage, their calling key, not yours. And your calling key comes from your conscious sun placement in your human design life chart. You'll see a copy of that life chart in your profit code blueprint. So have a look there and have a look at the top right. That will have a gate number, one of 64 gates that you will have there, and a line number next to it. So for example, mine is 23.5. So it's gate 23 in line 5. You don't need to understand how that works to understand what the calling key is, because I've synthesized that for you. I've been able to take each one of these 64 archetypes and each of the 6 lines to give you an indication of your energetic brand frequency, your true calling, that shares the life's work that you are invited to do to reach your highest potential, to allow you to profit on purpose and to allow you to get better results with way less effort. So I've been able to take those 64 gates and reveal them in this blueprint, custom to you. You'll just see one of them in your Profit Code blueprint, and that will be yours. And where it's drawn from is that conscious sun placement in your human design. So just giving you that reference so you know where it comes from. But you don't have to understand human design. I'm not teaching you human design because I want to make it much easier for you to understand how it powers up your profit, your purpose, and your peace in business. So that's what we're focused on. And that's why we're starting with the 6 cash flow keys. And even just having those 6 cash flow keys revealed will bring you to a whole new perspective of what's possible in your business. Because your calling key is the most important energetic frequency in your business. It's how people experience you even before you speak. It's the invisible force that either draws your perfect people in or repels them. And it's also the biggest indicator of your purpose, what you're really here to do in the world. And no other system I know comes close to sharing that from just entering in your birth details. Astrology is great in that it shares a lot of wisdom, and I love astrology, but it doesn't necessarily show you what your purpose is. Whereas this brings together astrology, but it also brings together the power of ancient wisdom of the I Ching and the Kabbalah and the chakra system, and pulls it all together along with quantum physics to share with you your own energetic blueprint and how you can harness and activate that for way more success, ease, and flow in your business, as well as just aligning with your purpose. So it's an amazing alternative to outsourcing all of your wisdom to somebody else who may not have that same energetic blueprint. And here's the kicker. When you're not operating from your authentic calling key, you're not just missing out on easier success. You're actually working against your own purpose and working so much harder than you need to for less impact and less income. Your calling key reveals more than your energetic brand essence, and it's not just a logo, some images, or a color palette. It's so much more than that because it reveals how to show up authentically in every piece of content you create, what kind of energy to bring to your offers and messaging, how to differentiate yourself in a crowded market without trying, and what will feel energizing versus draining in your business, particularly when it comes to marketing and messaging. This, more than anything else within your energetic blueprint, will drive your messaging, will drive your offers, and will drive the resonance of your brand and who you're marketing to, who you're attracting, and how to get that momentum in business where all of those beautiful elements come together so that you have a high frequency offer, so that you have a profitable personal brand that resonates with the people you're designed to impact, and you're able to share a message that matters, that helps others transform and helps you fulfill your life's work. It also makes it so much easier to attract people who are genuinely excited to pay you. Now, there are 64 different calling keys, each with its own flavor, frequency, and purpose contained within. Some people are here to embody innovation. They're the disruptors, the ones who see what's possible before anyone else. Others carry nurture. They create the safest spaces and connection and networks for transformation. Still, others hold power. They create and inspire action and movement just by being themselves. None is better than any other. They're all essential, and we all have access to all of them at some time or another, but only one is yours in that calling key placement, ushering in your inner wisdom in the form of your soul's purpose, what you're here to do in the world. Now, my calling key is simplicity. And honestly, when I first discovered this, I did a bit of a double take. I thought, but how come sometimes I seem to make things so much more complicated than they need to be? And as I uncovered more about human design, and I could couple that with my experience in marketing, branding, client attraction, lead generation, and all of those beautiful things, once I understood those elements, I understood that, yes, the calling key still works with the rest of my design and the rest of the energetic environment of the day, but also that there can be a higher and lower expression of each of these calling keys. And oftentimes we can be stuck in the lower expression of our calling key. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. There's a polarity in everything that we do. There's going to be push and pull in there, but awareness helps us uncover how we can activate the higher expression of our calling key. Because when I started paying attention to that calling key of simplicity, I noticed that clients consistently would say things like, "Oh, you make this so easy to understand." And I realized that my most successful content was always about taking overwhelming concepts and distilling them into actionable clarity. I have taught and shared online lead generation, online branding, Facebook ads for 15 years. And Facebook ads, one of those things that people have always said, so confusing, I don't even want to go there. But that's something that I've always been able to simplify for others and show how it can create such a great impact in their business. My biggest business breakthroughs happened when I stopped trying to add more complexity, stopped trying to stay in confusion or making things more complex to create more confusion for myself or others. And I started asking, how can I step in to this invitation to make things simpler? Even this profit code blueprint, taking the vast world of human design and translating it into 6 clear actionable keys, well, that's my calling key in action. And as my understanding grew and I embraced simplicity instead of fighting it and staying in the lower expression of it, my business became so much more profitable and peaceful. I couldn't believe that I could be making money without actually having to show up and do client calls or coaching again and again, that I was able to work with my natural profit advantage and use that simplicity to share some of this wisdom to create value and create transformation for others. And I wasn't swimming upstream anymore. My message began to reveal itself so much more than it ever had before. But here's what most people miss about their calling key. It's not just about marketing, messaging, or branding. It's about energetic alignment. It's about activating your unique profit advantage so that you can step into your highest potential. And even just starting with an awareness and understanding of your calling key, your nervous system immediately relaxes. You feel so seen and heard, and you have the chance to step into a new level of energetic alignment. And that in itself gives you a newfound confidence and positivity in the possibility that exists there. That in having just that purpose revealed to you through your calling key gives you a whole new way to do business, a whole new way to trust yourself to get the results that you're here to create, not just for you, but for others as well. You'll stop swimming in confusion and second guessing every decision. You'll not only trust yourself, you'll trust your instincts because you're finally working with your purpose instead of fighting against it. And the really beautiful part is that higher and lower expression of the calling key, the frequency and the shadow, where the frequency is your gift. It's what lights you up and magnetizes others. And the shadow is what happens when you're acting out of alignment, operating from fear or reactivity. And mostly a lot of those lower expressions of your calling key are actually victim states. It's where you're in victim mentality. You're feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, confused, frustrated, angry, bitter. And it's really hard to thrive in business when you're operating at that energetic frequency. For example, if your calling key is innovation, you're all about groundbreaking ideas and fresh perspectives, but the shadow could be restlessness or constantly starting new things without finishing them. Understanding both of these dimensions gives you a roadmap for staying in your power and recognizing when you're off track, not having to go to an external source of wisdom to tell you whether you are or not. That trust that you cultivate in yourself by the understanding of your calling key and the opportunity to embrace it in business and life will give you such renewed levels of trust that enable success, growth, and lasting rewards that come from you living out your purpose and reaching your highest potential. And when you discover and embody your calling key, 3 things happen almost immediately. First, your content creation becomes so much more effortless. You know exactly what energy to bring because you're not guessing anymore. You're expressing your authentic purpose, your energy that's wired within. Second, you start attracting different people, better people, the ones who are meant to work with you. They recognize something in your energy that feels like home and they can't help but be drawn to you. And third, your decision-making becomes so much clearer. Instead of asking, what would so-and-so do? You start asking, what would someone with my calling key do? And the answer feels obvious. One client told me, it's like I finally got the user manual to me. And another said, I can finally breathe again in my business. This makes so much sense. Of course, everyone's going to have a different reaction to what that understanding brings. Look, your calling key is just the beginning. It's the foundation of your profit code. And your profit code is one of 6 other codes that are your human design success codes that I talk about in my Your Solution program. But for now, I want you to just have an awareness and grounded understanding of these 6 cash flow keys and how they show up for you from your custom blueprint. Your calling key is a foundation that everything else builds on, but it's connected to the 5 other cash flow keys that together create your complete profit code blueprint. The key I'll take you through in the next video is your client key, and that shows you how you're naturally designed to attract your best clients. Your communication key shows you how to express your calling through your individual voice. Your connection key reveals how you're designed to build a culture for those your calling is here to serve and how you can deliver that. Your courage key shows you how you're designed to squash resistance and take courageous action in your business, the kind that leads to effortless growth. And your contribution key ties all those keys together to point you on a path to more peaceful profits that mean you will reach your highest potential and prosper from your purpose rather than performance. The 6 cash flow keys unlock your natural money-making patterns, your energetic profit potential. And when all 6 keys work together, you're not just building a business, you're building a movement. You're changing lives, including your own and your family's, and you're finally doing what matters most. So I want you to go and read your calling key section in your profit code blueprint. Pay attention to what feels familiar, what feels exciting, and what feels scary. All of those reactions are data that you can build on, that you can use to power the trust in yourself, the understanding of yourself, and the opportunity to utilize that to really get so much more clarity, so much more confidence, and consistent cash flow. Then ask yourself, how have I been honoring this energy in my business? And where have I been working against it, knowingly or not? Your calling key is your permission slip to stop performing and start being, because the world is waiting for what only you can bring. Many will never get the chance to understand and activate this, but you can start now. Are you ready to answer the call? I'd love to hear. Just click the bottom of the page and let me know, and I'll see you on the next key. Thanks for joining me on this episode. If you want to dive deeper and get the practical path to leverage your human design and turn energy blocks into business breakthroughs, then you're going to want to see my latest class. Make sure you head to victoriagibson.com and click on the Watch the Class tab, and you can uncover more about what is encoded within your energetic blueprint and how you can harness it for unlimited success and to step into your true potential. I cannot wait to see you over there.